entrepreneurialism isn't just some person driving a flashy car, it's actually very individual, and it's someone that's pursuing a passion and doing it on their terms. To rent space, before Appear existed, it took averagely 6 months. There wasn't a single website in the world with a price. You couldn't transact online, you couldn't pay online. So we were the world's first platform that makes it possible to book a store online. But I think for me, like, as I built Appear those first few years, I think it felt very much about like pop-up shops. It was very much about solving that problem. And I think as it went on, it was like, this is about being the platform for offline. And even retail, I hate the word. Yeah. Because like, what the fuck is retail? And it's like, actually, it's about, whereas a house is where you live, office is made where you go to work. To me, that other space, the place where you actually go to connect, where you have, serendipitous moments where you discover, where as humans we just interact, right? Like, what is that? And to me, that's retail. Like, if you think about it from just a physical standpoint, it's on the ground floors often, it's the space where we go, it's our streets. At 16, I left school, so other than GCSEs, I have no qualification, and I moved to London. But I was really lucky. I went to found a way a few years later to get into this advertising school. So we went into this building every day and we'd be taught by these incredible people in advertising. And one thing that was said was every day before breakfast come up with 3 ideas. And for the first few ideas, it's quite easy. But actually after a week, it's really hard. So what you start doing is you start looking at anything and everything for an idea, so that the next morning, once you've had your 3, you can get out of bed. And I literally found it on my notes on my phone a few weeks back. It says, empty shops. What about Airbnb for pop-ups or something? And it's just because that day I'd walked past a few empty shops. And obviously that had stuck in my mind. I think entrepreneurs have one of the biggest abilities to grow right now than ever before. I think that there is a resetting happening which needed to happen. New York, to me, from a retail perspective, was just, most of the city was vacant before COVID. And that was just because prices were ridiculous, because it was all based on artificial asset values that had no merit. So no one could afford the rents, and then guess what? You don't fill the shop, because if you fill the shop at a realistic rent, suddenly the banks will realise that your property's worth nothing. So actually COVID's become this amazing event where a lot of stuff that was basically fairy dust and not real has had to fall to the ground, and people go, well, let's accept reality. And that means that you're going to have a levelling out of the playing field. Look, I am incredibly long and bullish on cities. I never was in London for the art gallery at the museum. That's the 1%. It's super lovely sometimes. I love going to a cool exhibition. That's not why I live in London. I live in London because of the energy, because of the buzz, because of the other 99%, because of people doing stuff.